Hello, Julie here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me here today. Today I'm going to be making two Christmas cards. They're going to be the same style but they're going to be different sizes and different finishes. At the end of the video I will put a document that shows the full cutting instructions. I got this idea off of Annette Sullivan over at Lavender Thoughts. Okay, so here's the measurements or the stuff that we're going to use to create this first card. So this card is going to measure 5 inches by 6 inches when it's finished, and I will have a list at the end of this video, like a sheet that shows you what size to cut your cardstock and your pattern papers to make both this size and the next one that I'm going to make as well. So to start with, I'm using this Cascade Cards pattern paper. I think it's called Saint Nick or something like that. It's pretty old. I would say it's probably round about 10 years old. St. Nicholas collection it's called. And for the card base, we need one piece 9 inches by 6 inches, so it's 9 by 6. Two pieces that are 2 1/4 by 5 1/2, and two pieces that are 2 inches by 5 inches. Now I cut that out of a 12 by 12 piece of pattern paper, and this is what I've got left over. So you can see you can get it out of one sheet of paper. Now for the pattern paper, I've used an assortment of different patterns. This one is 4 3/4 by 5 3/4, so 4 3/4 by 5 3/4. Two, that's these two, 2 1/4 by 5 1/4, and these two are 1 3/4 by 4 3/4. So that's what we're going to need as far as papers and cardstock are concerned. We'll also need our scoreboard or something, whatever you use to score, because we are going to be scoring this. Okay, so it's the same for both sides. So along the 9-inch edge, we're going to score at every 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2 inches, and 2 inches. And then starting at the other end, it's 7 inches, 7 1/2 inches, 8 inches, and 8 1/2 inches. Okay. So now what we need to do is we start with our first fold, and we fold in, burnish, then fold out on the next fold, next score line I mean, burnish, fold in. So we're doing a zigzag fold or concertina fold, and then out again. And we'll do the same on the other side. So in on the first fold, score line I mean, out, in, and out. So burnish those all nicely. We've got nice crisp folds. Okay, so I have got one here that I have played around with so that I could get it correct, and we're going to do this next. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure down. Let me get a pencil and a ruler. Here we go. So we're going to start from the edge and we're going to measure down 1 1/4 inches. And put a mark. And so then we're going to cut across to the second score line. So we're going to go over that line into that line. You could actually mark there 1 1/4 inches down too, so that you get to the right spot. I don't know how straight my cutting is, but obviously not perfect. And then cut that piece away. So cut down that score line on that fold. And we can just cut that actual score off. Okay, so now we're going to measure up here 5/8 of an inch, or 5/8 of an inch. So there, put a little mark, and from there we're going to cut, hang on, let me have a look, so let's just check this. So that goes like that, we measure up 5/8 of an inch, we cut across, I'll measure 5/8 of an inch on the other side just to make sure I get it nice and straight. I'm just going to cut across there, and then I'm going to cut from that fold to the top of that fold on an angle like so. So we end up with that across 2, up 1, across 1, and then diagonally up to the back 1. And we have to do the same thing on the other side. So down 1 1/4 inches, across 2 folds, or across 1 fold to the second fold, cut that off, cut up that fold, then we measure up 5/8 of an inch. On both of those. And that might, it's a bit tricky, isn't it? Oh, it's actually down 5/8 of an inch as well, I think. Yep. So 5/8 of an inch across there, and then diagonally from that fold to the top at the back fold. Okay. So that's what it looks like. Straight up, straight slope. Straight up, straight slope. And when we put it all together, it looks like that. Okay. Right. Now I'm going to ink all around the edges of this. I have inked all of my pattern papers, and I did ink around this as well, but I inked around the outside edge, so now I'm just inking around the inside edge, just in case you can see it. There's a chance that, you know, we might not see it, but just in case we do. Okay, so now we can take our large piece. So this piece was this was the 4 3/4 by 5 3/4, and that's going to sit in there. I have inked around the edge of this. Let me make sure I've got it up the right way. Yes. Now I'm going to use glue for mine. I've chosen this light pattern paper for the background because it will be easy to write on or stamp on or whatever you want to do in here. You could do your stamping and your, you know, put your sentiment and whatever in there before you attach it if you're a bit unsure about your stamping abilities. If you plan on stamping a message on the inside. So that's that section. Now, I think, I'm not sure, I think I'll just do it this way. Okay, so our next piece goes in here, gets stuck onto that piece and onto this piece. Now, I have inked around those pieces, so I'm just going to add glue on here. Wipe that glue off of there. And position this on here so that it lines up with the bottom. We want it to be perfectly lined up with the bottom and to fit inside of that fold. So just like that. Okay, so that's one side. Now we're going to do the other side. Now when we position this in here, we want to be sure that they match up perfectly when we stick the second one in. Now that's just a smidgen tight. So I'm going to shave a whisker off of that. Let me have a look at that now. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so I'll ink that edge that I just shaved off a little bit. And then I'll add some glue here. And put this in here, making sure once again that I'm lining it up down the bottom. And make sure that that matches up perfectly, which it is. Okay, so that's that one. Now we can add our pattern paper to this. So we'll pop that in here. Once again, I have already inked around the edge of this. And that just centres in amongst that. Just leaving that border all the way around. And the same for this one. Okay, so that sits like that. It's our first layer. Now we're going to do the next layer, and this is going to sit on top of this. So we're going to add our glue here. And then position our pattern paper or our plain cardstock so that it lines up perfectly with the edge and the bottom. Like so. And stick that down. the same for this side. Line it up at the bottom and the edge. Burnish that down. Okay, that's that. Now we're going to add these panels on here. Once again, ink around the edges if you like your edges inked. It's not compulsory, of course. I do like it. And this side, I mean, I could have used either side of this, but I just wanted a bit of red on there. You know, they're traditional Christmas colours. This is all traditional colours and patterns in this St. Nicholas range. Okay, so there is our cascading card. You can see that, I hope, from the top, and from the front it's very cute too. So now you can decorate that however you wish. I am going to use some of these cutter parts, I think, that come in this paper range to decorate this. Okay, so this paper range has some cutter parts in it. So I've cut some pictures out of the cutter parts and I've backed these two with gold cardstock and I'm going to put them in here. So let's stick them down. Like that. I mean, it's not necessary to add something in here, but I thought I might as well. So I've used gold pearlised cardstock to back these. I was going to layer them onto some green as well, but my sheet of green cardstock, I didn't have enough of it. This is all that I've got left, so that idea went out the window. So now this side, and I'm going to try and line them up so that they're more or less on the same level. About like that. What do we think? Does that look level enough? Make it straight. Okay. That's that. Now this other one, cute little picture, and it's got Christmas greetings on it, so I thought I would use that as the front of my card. So it's got everything on it. I've matted that onto the gold and then onto the green, and I'm just going to attach it to one side here. So let's, this is a bit tricky. Push that all together as it should be, position it where you want it, sort of centrally, and burnish that down. Okay, so here we have our card. So we open it up, we've got that, we've got that. We can write our message in here. It stands up nicely on the shelf, like so. Okay, alright, so that's our vintage or traditional Christmas card. Now I'm going to make one that, and as I said, this measures 5 inches by 6 inches. I'm going to do one now that measures 4 inches by 6 inches, which is more your traditional standard size Christmas card. I will have to make a envelope to go with this, and I've got plenty of pattern paper left over, so I'll probably make an envelope out of matching paper. Okay, so now I'm going to do a non-traditional Christmas coloured card. I'm using, as my base, I'm using this Cardstock cardstock called Rose, and the pattern paper is Uniquely Creative Serendipity Providence. So I'm using this, I'm also using this one here, which is called, it's from the same Serendipity range, and it's called Adore. So they're my layers. So let's do our, and this is the card that I have left over from a 12 by 12 sheet. So you can see there's a bit more left over this time because my base is smaller. So once again we're going to do the same thing. We're going to score at 1/2 inch intervals. So we're doing 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2 inch and 2 inch, and then we're doing 6 inch, 6 1/2 inch, 7 inch and 7 1/2 inch. Okay. So remember, we folded these in and then we concertina folded them. Now where's my bone folder gone? Here we go. It's just good to burnish them with each new fold, I think. And we'll do this side. Now, I saw this fold on Pinterest, and it was done by a lady called, I can't remember her name, but I will definitely put a link to her. She had a video, and she got hers out of an A4 sheet of card, so she actually joined these pieces here. I've adapted it and I've changed the sizing. Her sizing is different as well. She's in centimetres, so if you're interested in centimetre sizes, you can have a look at her video as well. So now, remember, we have to do our cutting on the side. So, ruler and pencil, and we come down 1 1/4 inches. And we go across 2 for this one, don't we? So we cut across the first fold and stop at the second fold. Then we cut that piece off along that score line. Then we measure down 5/8 of an inch. Cut that across there, and then we cut from that fold diagonally up to the top and the final fold. So we got that shape there. We'll do the same on the other side. We're going to measure down 1 1/4 inches. Going to cut that off across to the second fold line. We're going to cut that off. Then we're going to measure up 5/8 of an inch. Cut across to the next fold. And then we're going to cut from that fold diagonally up to the top. Or you can go down if you want to, if it's easier. I'm going to cut an angle there between those two folds. So that's what we've got. And we've got our two sides. So, did I say what size this was? This piece is 8 inches by 6 inches. So, 8 inches across, 6 inches down. We've scored it half, 1, 1 1/2 and 2, and 6, 6 1/2, 7, 7 1/2. Okay, and we've done our cutting the same as we did on the other one. So now we can see that our card is 4 inches by 6 inches. Okay, so now pattern paper. This is double-sided pattern paper. I'm going to use this side, and I've cut this piece 3 3/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches. I haven't inked the edges on these papers, so you'll have to bear with me while I do that. It doesn't really take all that long. And we'll stick that down. Okay, slide that in there. Centre it in there because I've allowed like 1/8 of an inch all around. If I can get it in there before it sticks. And that goes like that. Okay. Now we've got our bigger pieces. Now these two are 2 inches by 5 and 2 inches by 5 1/2, I think. Yes, 2 inches by 5 1/2. Once again, I'll ink around those. Now this cardstock has got texture on one side, smooth on the other. So I'm using the textured side up. So I'm making the textured side the right side. Now if you wanted to, you could add your pattern paper to these pieces before you add them to your card base, but I'm going to stick with the method that I have used before and I know works. Looks like I haven't quite cut that far enough off. Was it? Yeah, can you see that? So you have to cut the actual score line off, otherwise you get that poking out. This doesn't look that neat. Okay, so now I'm going to sit that in there and sit that over like that, lines up. Okay, so add our glue to this piece. And pop our cardstock in there, making sure that we're lining it up with the bottom. And then press that down. Try and make sure it's nice and straight. Finish that. Okay, now we're going to add this piece in here. Just want to make sure that they sit neatly. Now once again I've just got a little whisker. You can see that has got just a little whisker, so I'm going to just trim that off. Okay, so that's fine now. I'll just re-ink that edge and stick that down. So let's line this up with the bottom. And fold it over so that we get it perfectly in place. There we go. Bit of glue there. Burnish that. Fold that over and burnish that. So that's our first layer. Just like that, I don't want to get my cardstock in there. So now I'm going to add my pattern paper to this layer. Some glue. So how is everybody? Everything is good here at this point in time. So I am enjoying everything being normal. Now I'm going to pop that on there, trying to centre that as best I can. So I have allowed about 1/8 of an inch all round. Once again, burnish, burnish, burnish. Yes, as I was saying, yeah, so it's really good weather here at the moment. Really enjoying that as well. Try and make sure they're lined up. I could come down a little bit. Okay, so about there. It's not good. It's not cut very straight, is it? I thought my paper slipped when I did that. So I'm going to put it down the bottom there because this is going to go over the top of it. Not happy, Jan. And that's basically the construction of our card. Once we get this piece stuck on, it's all decorating from there on. So there we go, that's that one standing up like so. So now I am going to embellish it. Okay, so I've got this Paper Rose Pretty in Pink Christmas die cut set. I've also got the paper collection to go with this, which I thought would be quite good, but it's not as good as I thought it was. Anyway, I'll use that for something along the way. But anyway, I decided to use some of these die cuts to decorate this card. And you can see there probably that they come with a white border around it. I do not like those white borders at all, so I have fussy cut them all off. And this one here, I have backed that onto some of this cardstock and then cut around it. And I have, I've inked around those, but I haven't inked around this by the look of it. Oops. So I will do that. And I'm going to use this across the front of my card. So like that, like this piece on this one, I'm going to just have this small piece that will overlap both sections on the front. So first of all, I'm going to decorate these two pieces in here. So I've got some baubles, and I thought I'd put some varying baubles on here. So like that maybe, or something like that anyway. Have to make sure that I get them, you know, like under or overlapping each other so that they fit within that area. I have one, well, I thought I might have one a bit higher up, one a bit lower down, something like that. So let's do that. So first of all, the ones behind will get stuck down. So as I said, I cut the white borders off of these, and it might be a good idea if I use my tweezers for this. Gives me a hands-free, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to put one like that, about there, and this one. Just keeps your fingers out of the glue, really. This one about right down on here, inside of that pattern paper. So something like that. And this one I'll put the bigger one at the back. Put it a bit higher up because I plan on putting the that low on the card front, so these will still show if I do that. A bit bad, aren't I, at stopping halfway through a sentence? Not good. I'll try not to do that in future. Okay, so they're going to just sit in there like so, and I'm going to put this Merry Christmas here and these here. So let's put some glue on this. I think it overlaps a little, so I haven't put glue over the whole thing, and I don't mind if that little birdie's head sits above. Is that straight? Let me have a look. Yep, that's not too bad. I might just put a little bit of glue behind this because I don't want it flapping about and getting torn off. Excuse me coughing, but I've got a bit of a hangover from a cold I had recently, and this little niggly cough just won't go away. So the plan is to put that there like so. So I need to put glue to about here. position those down, put that down like so. Check that I haven't got any excess glue on my finger. Get my okay, so they're all stuck nicely. Now I'm just going to get a black pen, if I can find one in here, find my favourite one in here, that is, this one, and a ruler, and I'm going to draw some strings in for these hooks, for these baubles, so just to the top there, and this one, and the same for this side. Try and make them straight, no guarantee of that though. I'm just eyeballing it. If I really wanted to make sure that they were straight, I would measure. Okay, so there we have our second, what's it called, Cascade card. So quite cute. Open up, open up. There's plenty of room on the back there for you to put a sentiment. You could actually add another embellishment in there if you wanted to. I'm not going to bother, I'm just going to leave it for writing. So that's our two cards. So same style, different papers and slightly different sizes. So they're both 6 inches tall. This one will fit into your standard envelope, and this one, it needs a 5x6 envelope, which I will make using some of this pattern paper. I've got so much of that left over, or so much of it to use, that I'm going to do that. And there's the two different styles too, like the vintagey and the probably a bit more modern style. So there we have it. That's my two cards for today. I hope you've enjoyed watching my video. If you have, I hope that you will give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment, or if you've got some suggestions of different things I can do as well with this style, please leave me a comment. I'm more than happy to hear all of your ideas. So yeah, thank you for being here, and I hope you can join me when I post my next video. Okay, bye.